It is now 6:00 PM on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, and I would like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome those who are participating in the Board of Education meeting in person and those watching the meeting via live streaming on YouTube. We would ask that anyone addressing the board to please use the microphone at the podium and to identify themselves for the record. As a reminder, the link to the meetings is on the district webpage under Board of Education. The streaming will run through the end of the meeting. In the event there is a disruption in the streaming, I will pause the meeting until it is reestablished. We are missing tonight Mr. P. David Vickers as a member of the board, so we are working with a quorum. We have 4 members present, and this is Mr. Otero's first meeting as a member of the board, so I'd like to welcome you back to the dais. Mr. Otero, it's nice to have you up here.
Thank you.
We are now on item B, the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would stand with me, please. And Mr. Otero, would you please lead the pledge?
Our pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Mrs. Chavez, would you please announce the meeting?
This meeting has been announced in accordance with the New Mexico Open Meetings Act and the Los Angeles Schools Open Meetings Resolution and is a legally constituted meeting of the Los Angeles Schools Board of Education.
Thank you very much. We are on item D, approval of the agenda. Mrs. Chavez, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
There are no changes or deletions to the agenda tonight.
Thank you very much. I would stand for a motion regarding the approval of the agenda.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Bennett and seconded by Mrs. Simoia to approve the agenda as it has been submitted. Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, I will call for the vote. Mr. Bennett, your motion.
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
Yeah, I vote yes.
Mr. Otero,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 4-0. We are on item E, discussion with possible action to approve tech fee updates. So I believe, I know that you have a presentation ready for us, Mrs. Chavez, so I would like you to start with the presentation and then we will have the board go into discuss or possible action with the discussion.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Osowski. And members of the board, we will be reviewing the presentation that was presented on the evening of September 10th, 2024 during the 24-25 school year. And I think I'm just waiting for it to be projected. We did make some updates that I think you'll be very happy with as we open up the new school year. So this will be for student fees for the 25-26 school year, which we just started last week. So we're very excited to start a new school year. Next slide, please. So we have eliminated iPad lab fees. Prior to this elimination, we did charge our students a fee. I believe it was $15 at the elementary level and $20 at the middle school level. 15 across the board. So we have eliminated those lab fees, so there will be no lab fees for iPad usage during the 25-26 school year. We will continue to purchase the 4-year warranty on those, or the cases for those iPads, and that will help with the life cycle for the iPad for 5 years. We will keep a $25 standard repair fine when damaged, and that fine helps cover any of the incidentals that we have to incur, such as lost charges, damaged cases, and screen protectors. The next slide was our technology fee that was presented the night of September 10th. MacBook fees are now an option. It is not mandatory to pay at the high school level for MacBook fees. There is a buyout option. This was what was presented the night of September 10th. Please note on the second column under insurance options after the 4-year price for the insurance, there is an example that says screen repair is $220. That's what was approved the night of the 10th. So if you go to the next slide, we had many concerns from parents throughout the school year because each repair was charged a different fee. So if there was a screen repair fee, it was $220. If there was a cracked or there's a keyboard replacement, it was another fee. So now if you look at the same column in the middle under insurance options, the insurance will cover all repairs, which it did before. And then if you look at the third column, students will pay a standard $100 repair fee. So instead of the $220, it will be $100. So if there's any issues with their iPad as far as any damage, the fee will be $100 per incident. On MacBooks only. So there will not be a menu of repair fees. It will be a flat $100 fee.
And Ms. Chavez, the center column where it says in case of theft, can you go into a little detail on that real quick?
Yes, absolutely. So in the event of theft, there will be a requirement to file and provide a police report. And that will then mean that the user will not have to pay for device replacement. And that was in place in September. So we did decrease the amount of a incident repair fee. The next slide was a review of the course fees. So we did go through and audit which classes did have fees. And they were necessary for consumables. So Valencia High School provides 67 elective courses that are fee-free and 33 that require a fee. Los Lunas High School provides 76 elective courses that are fee-free and 27 that require a fee. At the time, and we are going through some updates that we will be discussing as a school board and district, students were required to take 8 elective courses for graduation. That was the requirement in September. That has since been updated. The next slide, course fees is shared between 33 courses with restrictions based off of federal choice for the grant cycle. Some consumables like food for culinary are not allowed purchases under Carl Perkins. The courses were reviewed course by course and determine what was allowable and funded by local, state, and federal funds. Fees that were removed for this upcoming school year, the 25-26 school year, PE uniforms at Los Lunas High School, there was a charge for students to pay for the uniform. There was not a charge at Valencia High School. So that has been eliminated. Science lab fees have also been eliminated, as well as the iPad fees for K-8. And the buyout insurance fees for MacBooks, this is now an option. Students no longer have to pay the $45 that they have to pay every year. It is an option for them to pay $45, and the $45 each year will go towards the buyback fee when they graduate, if they so choose to take that MacBook with them.
On that, Ms. Chavez, that $45, going back to $100 incident, I mean, if they're paying that $45 per year, they still also be required to pay the $100 per incident?
Correct, because the $45 is an option, but that goes towards the buyback fee.
Right, so if a student's not buying back or option, they're still required to pay for the repairs?
Correct.
Thank you.
We do want to teach our students responsibility, and if there's damage.
And will there be some kind of disclosure when they receive you, so they will be aware of it and their parents or guardians will be aware of this?
Yes, we will have a system, and we'll get to that in just a second because that's been updated.
Okay.
So that's not a surprise at the end where they have sticker shock.
Thank you.
So again, those fees for the MacBooks are optional. Students no longer have to pay any fees unless they decide they would like to buy back their MacBooks when they graduate from one of our high schools. Additional items that were discussed, GoFan is used throughout the state. That is the payment for our athletic events. And we will continue with the clear bag policy, and cashless entry is a safety issue. So we have done GoFan for a couple of years now with the fees to get into athletic events. We do have the fee for the parking pass, and that pays for the actual parking sticker. It is a privilege to drive to school, and the parking passes help ensure safety and security in our parking lots. We have one additional update, and we're very, very happy, and I would like to give a special thank you and appreciation to our technology department and our business office. We are ready to go live with My School Bucks. This is an online option payment for our families, so they do not have to send their students to school with cash. For registration orientations that will be coming up very soon. This parents that do attend, they can pay those fees via credit card or debit card on site, or they can choose to pay online. They will have a My School Bucks account, so it will log how many repair fees that they owe if necessary. So they'll have a real-time view into their account.
Is
So
this
we'll
the
not
same-
wait.
Is this the same account that pays for their food? I mean, I know it's got free lunches and stuff, but
I believe it is, yes.
Same company, but different.
So I could see my son's lunch account and at the same time I could see his other fees.
Do you think they're still separate, but
It's the same service that used to work with the lunch payments. There are no current lunch payments, but if they were to come back, then it would all be visible at the same time.
Okay, so, all right.
got
So it's real-time account information similar to looking at a bank account or PayPal, so you know what, but this would be what your debit is instead of your credit. And then the next slide is an informational item that will be sent out via Remind, which is our communication app for our community. So parents will be receiving this information so they know that they will be able to make school payments via online or via credit card or debit card during orientation and registration. And this will get them started for an account that they can set up on the app so they know what their fees are gonna be and there's not the surprises that we have surprised our parents with. They'll have real-time information of what fees that they have incurred and what their balance is. So I'd like to give a very special thank you to our technology team and our business office. This has taken a lot of work and collaboration on the back end to get the system to go live, specifically for all these fees. And I will stand for any questions.
Mr. Bennett, any questions?
no, mine were answered. Thank you.
Mr. Otero, any questions?
No, I.
Mrs. Simoia?
Nope, one quick question. I think it's wonderful that we are able to do this for our students. I know it was a very tight budget year. How are we funding these fees that we've cut? In other words, so out of what budget is this coming out of?
From the reduction of those fees. So we do have a very healthy 3 mil
Okay,
budget, and that's thank you to the community. That 3 mil did pass. So as a result of not having to use that budget for many years because of ESSERS, that budget is very healthy, so that will help support the continuation of these programs.
So I had a couple of questions. I'm on the updated proposal, or it's not really a proposal, the updated fees for MacBooks. Students will pay a standard $100 per incident repair fee. So I know screens are expensive. So $100, especially if they have the insurance, we should be okay there. Are there some other things like a key getting lost off of a keyboard to replace that? That's not $100. I've replaced my own. Please.
Yes,
would you
please.
please?
I'm gonna
Thank you.
pass this over to our
And thank you
Director
for
of
being here tonight.
Network
Appreciate it.
Operations, Mr. Mike Good.
thank you.
Good evening. I'm the Director of Technology, Mike Good. And Madam President, members of the board and Superintendent Chavez. Remind me of a question.
So, I think my concern is that 100 per incident
Oh,
repair
yeah,
fee
right. Okay,
can be
yeah,
very global, and some will not come anywhere close to $100. I mean, replacing a key. My dog chewed off my A key. I had to order a new A key and it cost me $3.20 and $15 in shipping. It didn't cost that.
right. There is some rhyme or reason behind this. There are no fees no repairs that we do. They're less than $100. The most common fee is a screen repair fee. You saw that quoted as $220. Prices are going up. It's probably more going to be like $250. And not only that, when we're buying MacBooks that run $900 or so, those repair fees are pretty significant. We have no repair fees less than $100. So it's not a lost key or anything like that. We have no small repair fees. And typically things like batteries that go bad, that's something the district pays for anyway, because it's none of the student didn't incur that cost. It's only something where we can show there was physical damage incurred by the student. And I also would just add, if they have insurance, then they don't have to pay the $100.
Oh, okay, that was
Right.
gonna be my next question. Okay, okay. What is the estimated buyback cost for the MacBooks? I mean, just like, what did they buy? What was it this last year?
How many or the
No,
cost?
what's the cost? So
Post that on an annual basis, and that hasn't been posted for next year just yet. But I would, if I had to make a ballpark guess, probably around $400. This last year, it was $300, but that was taking into account that the students had paid mandatory upfront lab fees. Then we will probably price it closer to the actual fair market price this upcoming year at approximately 400, although again, we haven't done the research on that, but that's typically where we would see the current MacBooks being at about that time. And then if any fees had been paid in the past or the deposit that is optional for them going forward, those will be deducted off of that buyout cost.
okay. Okay, thank you very much. That's all I have for you, sir. So I want to move forward to the parking passes. As you know, last year was a hot topic, especially because one high school, you get one parking pass, and if families have multiple vehicles, then the parking pass goes with the vehicle. And there's some close scrutiny as to making sure that Michelle doesn't pass this around to all of her colleagues up here so that we can all use the same parking pass. So I think we still have a few community members who are pretty upset with the idea that if we have 5 vehicles in our home, that we get to pay for 5 parking fees when we're not taking up 5 spots. The biggest concern is people pay for those spots, parents, and then they pay to paint those spots. And then somebody parks in their spot and we can't find somebody to go and get them out of the spot. So kids are losing time, parents are being called, and the irritation begins. I understand that these fees go to the National Honor Society.
So there's 2 separate costs.
Okay.
The parking pass is sold by the school.
Okay.
And that's to actually drive their car and be able to drive to really park their car in the parking lot. We have received many complaints about painting the parking spaces that determine the seniors' parking spot for the entire year, as well as staff members. So we are looking very carefully at that process. That does support NHS. That's part of an activity for National Honor Society. There has been many complaints about that because of exactly what you stated. Somebody parked in their parking space. I will use Los Angeles High School as an example because Los Angeles High School has a different parking structure than Valencia High School. There are limited amount of spaces to park at Los Angeles High School, and I have driven up there and tried to find parking spots, and it's been a challenge. So we have voiced that, and our new principal, Dr. Marcus at Los Angeles High School, is addressing those exact concerns.
I think I'm going to be asking for that to come up on a work session because out of all of the things that we need to be worried about in this district, who's parking in my painted spot really should be kind of on the lowest end of our list as opposed to how did we do on math and reading proficiencies. So yeah, that one I would like us to get nailed down and have a much better system than it is what it is. I know that's what I'd like to see.
From a professional standpoint, Presbyterian eliminated ours used to sponsor the United Way. You could make a donation and it was basically a lottery. If you made a $2,500 more donation, you could get a parking
Premier
space. And let me
parking.
tell you, we categorize where we park by Balloon Fiesta Park. If I'm parking in Albuquerque, Grants, Gallup, or I'm in Arizona right now, it's gonna take me 10 minutes to get in. So we had the same situation. It's like, I won that space. I paid for that space. That space is mine. It's got my initials on it. It's got logo logos on it. And
I'm so sorry.
there were so many tow trucks making money because you pull into your lot and your space was gone, and that's what our security decided. I've got better things to do than police parking spaces. It was a great idea to encourage people to participate,
Right.
contribute to National Honor Society,
Mhm.
but we get to a point where it's like, hey, it's first come, first serve, get in your space.
Correct.
So I don't know, that was just my 2 cents on parking spaces, but yeah. So-
Paid exorbitant parking spaces as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I think let's put that on our little list for August. Let's have
Okay.
a resolution on that one, because there's gotta be a better system than, oh, well, it sucks to be you.
And it would be nice to hear from both the principals at the both locations and probably the SROs too, because they're probably having to deal with this as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And like I said, Wilson High School is more limited the way the parking structure, the parking lot's designed versus Valencia High School.
Yeah.
Just,
They are colorful. Okay.
they're very colorful.
So when we use the app My School Bucks, is there a fee that gets paid back to My School Bucks? You know, sometimes you use a credit card and they give you, you get to pay the 3% for using your credit card.
The
Does that
transaction,
happen here?
the transactional fee does occur.
Or transactional fees? So is the district eating that? I'm assuming.
Ms. Trazek, if you can answer that question.
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Chavez, there is a fee. And so we will be picking up the excess portion of a fee, so there'll be a percentage. I believe there's like a minimum amount. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. But anything that isn't covered after a certain percentage, the district will pay those that amount.
That might be something that we want to watch a little bit, because I would hate for us to be losing some money over.
Well, yeah, because that's a concern when you buy tickets from GoFan. I mean, you pay for a ticket, but there's a service charge to use it. And I'm sure parents are figuring paying fees, why would I pay to use this service if it's gonna cost me?
But it's not, it's like GoFan, you have to purchase when you're buying those tickets for athletics. This, you still, if you choose to bring the money in, you don't have to pay those fees with the credit card.
Right.
So this is
So-
the only way
No.
that we would go.
There's still the cash
We're
option.
still the
Yeah.
same, yeah, the same options are still available, but we have so many that would prefer to just pay a fee and to be able to have that convenience of the credit card usage, so.
But they could still pay cash or check
Okay.
or money order.
Great, thank you very much. Can any board members see a reason for a motion here? These are not necessarily things that are falling out of the day-to-day administration of the school. I don't see that
I don't
this motion is
see for a
necessary,
motion, I
but
think.
is there something that you would prefer to have on as a motion as part of the record?
No,
I wouldn't. I mean, I believe it's part of the school's business.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
It was brought up in a work session to discuss because it had been brought to our attention by parents, basically, so it has been addressed. I don't think Ms. Chavez,
And it's a
Mr. Good
day-to-day
did a great job on.
Business of the school.
Great. Then we will close out item E. We will move to item F, approval of contract award RFP 2025-006-MR for special audit services. I would stand for a motion regarding the approval of the contract award.
Madam President, I would move to approve the contract award RFP 2025-006-MR for special audit services.
Thank you very much. Is there a second? I will second. Is there any discussion? Or Mr. Bennett has moved and I have seconded to approve the contract award RFP 2025-006-MR for special audit services. Is there any discussion? Having no discussion, I will call for the vote. Mr. Bennett, it is your motion.
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia,
I vote yes.
Mr. Otero,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes 4-0. We are on item G. Item G is the board met in retreat recently in June. Golly, can't believe it's up. Yeah, wow. So quick. And what item G is about, item G and H are two topics that were discussed at the board's summer retreat. One of those being the board's expectations for the superintendent's weekly update. So for a matter of the record, one of, just to bring the public up to speed in terms of what the board discussed, no decisions or actions were taken, was the what the board would like to see in the superintendent's weekly update in terms of a mechanism for keeping updated with the many various moving parts that this district has. The other purpose for having this is the board is responsible for the supervision and evaluation of the superintendent. And this is one mechanism to stay on top of some of those supervision and evaluation requirements. So several topics were raised in terms of what would we like to see in terms of the weekly update. I will update those topics for a better summary once Mr. Vickers returns on the June or July 22nd meeting, so that we can have a formal vote then. And a better discussion or richer discussion. Is there any other comments that anybody would like to make regarding item G? Having none, I'm going to move on to item H, the discussion and possible action regarding board's meeting agenda for the 25-26 school year. Again, this was a topic at the board side, sorry.
Madam President, point of order, we had a motion, do we have a motion and a second on that, or just we brought that up for discussion?
We just right now, discussion. I didn't do a possible action because I didn't summarize that, and we have a board member missing.
Thank you, I was gonna make
Yes.
sure, okay.
Since it's not pressing, I would hate to have a motion or a vote on that without a board member being able to participate in that. Okay, H. Same situation. This was a topic at the board's summer retreat, and we talked about the board's meeting agenda. 3 members of the board have had the opportunity in previous trainings to review a paradigm shift from the board agenda being all about adults and moving into topics associated with students. And we reminded ourselves about some of the training and some of the topics that we had heard, as well. And in several of the training opportunities that we've had since that initial training, we have heard about boards moving into the paradigm of their meeting being primarily about measuring and monitoring those things that we hope contribute to student outcomes and student success. So we talked again during the retreat about the kinds of things that we would like to see as a board. All of us had great ideas, and we generated quite a list, and moving away from quite so much adult regarded action and stuff that we're reporting on student actions. So my intention here, unless there is a different desire by any member of the board, is to again assemble those, and when Mr. Vickers returns on the 22nd, to be able to have those topics, and we could see after a motion, then we could have a discussion, and we could move into a final summary about what we would like to see on the board's agenda in terms of those action items, so we can shift our paradigm and become focused on student outcomes. Is there any other discussion that any member of the board would like to add to that? Or do you see a need for an action item at this time for a motion and a vote? Mr. Otero?
No, I don't really see any point in addressing it right now.
Mrs. Simoia?
No, I'd like to wait till Mr. Vickers can join, and so basically, I guess we probably could have amended the agenda to put these on our next opportunity for a meeting, because yes, I would like to discuss this when we have a full board present.
Well, it's a discussion, and we just had the retreat, so that's why I wanted
Yeah.
it to be fresh.
Fresh in
So,
everyone's mind.
right, and it says and possible action, so that's why we don't need to necessarily do that. Okay, so we are off of item H. We are now into item I, the announcement of meetings. This brings us to the announcement of meetings. As allowed by the Open Meetings Act and the District Open Meetings Resolution, on occasion, a quorum of the board members attend the same function, including school and district celebrations and ceremonies, as well as sports functions, conferences, workshops, trainings, and community events. Board members will refrain from discussing and or acting on LaSalle Schools Board of Education issues in those settings. In addition, only official meetings are published, and if other meetings are scheduled, they will be announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. With that being said, I would like to announce the following meetings. July 15, 2025, the Audit Committee will meet in the Central Office Conference Room. Attendance is by invitation only, and that will occur at 3:30 p.m. On July 15th, 2025, the Finance Committee will meet also in the Central Office Conference Room. That will begin at 4:00 p.m. July 22nd, 2025 will be a board work session in the central office board room. It will begin at 4:30 PM. Topics will be listed on the notice and the agenda. A quorum will be in attendance. This will be discussion only, no decisions will be made. Also on July 22nd, 2025, there will be a regular board meeting, which will be held in the central office boardroom beginning at 6:00 PM. July 31st, 2025, attendance at district convocation, which will be held at Valencia High School, 310 Bonita Vista Boulevard in Los Angeles, New Mexico, 87031. That will begin promptly at 8:00 AM, and a quorum will be in attendance. We are on item J. This leads us to the adjournment of the meeting. I would stand for a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Is there a second?
Mr. Terry, you want a second?
Second.
Mr. Bennett has moved and Mr. Otero, with prodding from Mrs. Simoia, has seconded. I will call for the vote. Mr. Bennett, your motion.
Yes.
Mrs. Simoia.
I vote yes.
Mr. Otero,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes.
Guys.
Meeting is adjourned at 6:31 PM.
Thank you, everyone.